Okay, so we're now roughly 3 weeks away from Mania. Now, up to this point, lots of the Raws have been very, very, very promo heavy. So how does this Raw begin? With like a 20-minute promo with The Rock. I will admit, when The Rock brought out John Cena, and it was like a 6-year-old, and he kind of ran him down, it was entertaining. For those of you who think you can't do decent entertainment being PG, The Rock more or less showed, by kind of belittling a child, you can do something pretty good with PG. That being said, knowing that The Rock is scheduled to show up in Chicago the Monday before WrestleMania, it's getting kind of tiresome just seeing him talk. And talk. And talk. And talk. And then how they end that? The Miz comes down. And The Miz talks. Last time I checked, it's called Wrestlemania, not Promomania. It'd be good to see actual amounts of matches. This Raw had a total of 5 matches. One was no DQ, so it had a run-in, and 2 of them ended in DQ. So we had 2 actual matches this whole night, as well as the guest host, Snooki. So, we've already gone through the first like half an hour. The Miz's promo actually was a lot better than what The Rock did. Essentially running down, The Rock's family, kind of going, I'm a champion. I'm going to be at WrestleMania. Your father, your grandfather never did that. Period. Then The Miz takes on the Great Khali. Khali wins by DQ. Miz beats Khali with the chair and actually, busts him open. Because when the chair leg broke, part of one of the little metal spokes kind of hit Khali in the back and cut him open. Okay. So you beat Great Khali then with the chair. Okay. The scene with Snooki in the back. I don't care for Snooki at all. Although this is actually kind of a decent amount of waste, but I'll get to that when she actually gets to her match. The bright side is they just involved Vicky Guerrero, so that part actually worked. But it was just, I don't know. I kind of think that while they had all this time with Snooki and all that, they could have had probably another match. There's going to be build up to the Lawler-Cole match. Cole did most of his commentary from the coal mine, his poke cage, his plexiglass box. Different, unique, but when he brought out the ultimate way to shame Lawler, it was Grandmaster Sexay, and he got absolutely 0 pop. Then he came out and ran the whole, you never wanted a son, you never wanted me, that's why I never used the Lawler last name. King was like, you're bigger screw up than Charlie Sheen. Yeah, but Daddy, I got to be on Mania. How's it make you feel, Daddy? 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 How does it make you feel, Daddy? Ugh. And the highlight was JR coming down, and JR actually, threatening to beat up Cole. Which then led to Swagger. Swagger then beat up Lawler, then got in the ring and applied the ankle lock to JR. Then Lawler got in the ring and attacked Swagger. Swagger was able to, beat off Jerry the King Lawler, and then apply the ankle lock onto him. While at the same time, Young Nicole put the ankle lock onto Jim Ross. You're probably thinking, I'm not discussing that much in the way of matches. You only really had 2. I've already discussed 1. No, I've actually discussed 1 out of the 5 matches. Only 2 of them were actual matches that actually went anywhere and lasted at all. Sheamus took on Bryan Daniels in by far the best match of the night. Actually, a fairly decent back and forth match with lots of good near falls and near submissions. and really good back and forth. It was great seeing someone of Bryan's size slug out with Sheamus. Sheamus being like 6 inches taller, like 100 pounds heavier. It was good because it made Bryan seem ridiculously credible, even though he ended up losing the match. But he lost it in a beautiful way and lost absolutely no traction at all. That was the match that was probably like this whole, like the steal of the show right there. Orton again destroyed another member of New Nexus. This time it was Mason Ryan. This again was kind of a squash match, and of course ended with a punt. They're doing a good job building up the Orton Punk feud with using like 5 minutes a week. It's got that great slow methodical build, which is the way their match is going to be. It's going to be slow, methodical, and vicious. The build up is beautiful for it. Now the build up for the Triple H Undertaker, it is great seeing all these promos, but it's kind of the same promo, or bits and pieces of the promo the same from the previous week. You're hearing Shawn Michaels talk about how great a competitor The Undertaker is and how tough he is to beat at WrestleMania. Yeah, it's great, but you really don't need to put that much time into this. If you want to build it one pretty decently, how about you have Triple H come out and annihilate an opponent in a squash match and then hype up Mania? Have him come out and fight somebody like Zack Ryder and just annihilate him. And really, really just crush him. And then cut a promo like, that's what I'm going to do to The Undertaker. Something just simple, basic. As opposed to just showing constant promo clips. So I've already gone through 3 matches. Got 2 matches left. Vickie Guerrero versus Trish Stratus. I mentioned Snooki came down. I talked about how she can't wait to see her girl Trish Stratus, whoop on Vickie Guerrero. But I guess there's no DQ match. So it's pretty much Trish Stratus not really fighting Vickie Guerrero. Till Ziggler came down. Ziggler got run off by Morrison. That was good. That made the match actually kind of worth it. Then Lay Cool came down and beat up Trish Stratus. Which then is going to lead to the following match at WrestleMania. Morrison, Stratus. Sounds awesome, right, doesn't it? And Snooki? And Snooki taking on Lay Cool and Ziggler. That match sounds good, exception of one thing. It does not require Snooki. If Snooki has a match at Mania, then we need to see at least 3 out of the following 4 titles defended. Divas, Tag, IC, and US. If you got time to put Snooki in a match, you got time to defend one of those 4 titles that are almost never defended on a pay-per-view. Now on to the last match of the night. Del Rio versus Cena, which again ends in a DQ. When Brodus gets in the ring and attacks John Cena. This is what led to probably the best moment of this entire night. When The Rock comes down to the ring and lays the smackdown on John Cena. And the crowd's reaction, because everyone thinks it's The Rock. Even though when they show him on the Titantron, there's obviously no tattoos on him. And it is The Miz in a bald cap, dressed like The Rock, doing The Rock's moves, acting like The Rock, hitting the rock bottom on John Cena, and then decimating John Cena afterwards. I like how Miz is actually using the short DDT. It's a nice move, it's vicious, it looks good. So, Mania's now 20 days away. They've got essentially 2 more Raws to really do something with this. Which sounds really sad to say that. Because it's been going pretty good, but all of a sudden they quit focusing on matches. Entirely. You can't have 5 matches. 1 have a run-in, 2 end by DQ, and have 2 actual matches out of those 5. That's TNA booking. That's not what you need to do, Vince. You need to actually build up these matches, build up a couple more. Because currently, it's kind of a shoestring looking Mania. And you decided to waste a slot for Snooki.